All right, everyone, from that clickety clack sound, it's time again for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 34, season 2. Today's date is March 12th, 2023, and welcome to the show. So, here is the lineup for today's program. Let's see. From the 1950s, it would be the syndicated Western series Cowboy G-Men. From the 1960s, the TV sitcom Don't Call Me Charlie. From the 1970s, the TV anime series The Barkleys. From the 1980s, the TV sitcom Filthy Rich. From the 1990s, the TV crime drama Bodies of Evidence. And also from the 2000s, the sitcom Andy Richter Controls the Universe. And from the 2010s, the TV drama 666 Park Avenue. Oh, scary. So this will be very interesting program. Okay, so before I get started, this program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Handy Wrap. And here's the commercial. The commercial is from 1967. Very popular product to keep all your food preserved and fresh. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll be back with the show. Thank you, everyone.
Why do you use wax paper? Now there's Handy Wrap at about the same price.
Freshness is a snap with Handy Wrap.
This cheese was stored a week in wax paper. It's tough, dry, stale. This cheese was stored a week in Handy Wrap. It's tender, moist, fresh.
Keep out dryness, keep in taste with Handy Wrap.
You can fix sandwich lunches the night before. Keep leftovers first day fresh and protect greens in Handy Wrap. Why do you use wax paper? Now there's Handy Wrap at about the same price. Handy Wrap is really moisture resistant. Eggs in boiling water prove it. Boiling water, and with Handy Wrap, not even a leak.
It keeps food fresher and tasting nice.
And like wax paper, it's
low in price.
Why do you use wax paper? Now there's Handy Wrap.
Freshness is a snap with Handy Wrap. Handy Wrap.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Handy Wrap. This product's still made, I believe. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe I'm wrong. I remember the advertisements from the 70s and 80s, particularly this 1970s. Let's see, what was the competition? I think with other plastic wraps. Saran wrap, of course. Yeah. But I'm sure it's around. If you check eBay, or not eBay, Amazon, excuse me. Or if you go to a Target store, maybe you can find it. I'm sure it's there. I could be wrong. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I described the lineup for today's program. And so we're going to get started. So the first show I'm going to talk about is from the 1950s, the syndicated Western series Cowboy G-Men. To be honest with you, I never heard of this show. And so I had to do some research yesterday to read about it, and I saw a couple episodes. It was pretty good. So I'll get started on that. This premiered on September 13th, 1952, and ended June 13th, 1953. One season, 39 episodes. And it starred actors Russell Hayden and Jackie Coogan. And we all know Jackie Coogan from, he was a famous silent film star, and also as Uncle Fester from the Addams Family, unfortunately. So Russell Hayden's character, his name was Pat Gallagher, and Jackie Coogan was Stoney Crockett. And they were a pair of government agents operating in the on the Old West in the 1870s. They also had an associate. His name was Zerbo, and that was portrayed by actor Phil Arnold. He was a famous vaudevillian actor. And sometimes when the plots were like they would find cattle rustlers or like real bad guys, and Pat Gallagher was typically undercover as a ranch hand, and Crockett took the role of a wrangler. And typical, Western that consists of fights, maybe a little romance in there. If it involved kidnapping, shootings, murder and all that, or even maybe a duel like that. The show was first filmed in color, but it only appeared on black and white when it aired on television. So, like I said before, I watched the show yesterday. It's a pretty good show. It's not bad. And let's see. So, the show was released on DVD a few years ago, but only about 10 episodes. They don't have all of them, so I don't recall seeing it in the store or maybe on the website or anything like that. So right now I'm going to play the theme song for Cowboy G-Men. And when I come back, I will talk about Jackie Coogan. So a little bit of that. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
The Cowboy G-Men, hard-riding, fast-shooting government secret service men of the Old West, working undercover on dangerous special assignments, courageous, resourceful fighters for law and order. The Cowboy G-Men in general delivery, starring Russell Hayden as Pat Gallagher and Jackie Coogan as Tony Crockett.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Cowboy G-Men. I'll talk about a little about Jackie Coogan. He started as a child actor in silent films. He was born October 26, 1914. His birth name is John Leslie Coogan. And he made, I think his first movie or his famous role was The Kid in that starred Charlie Chaplin. I saw this movie a long time ago when I was a kid. I loved it. Yeah, it was a great movie. And now I found out. No, it wasn't his first film. He did other ones and as well. And mostly silent pictures, and then he moved over to talkies. He did that. And let's see, he had a very turbulent life when he was growing up because his family squandered all of the money that he earned from the films, and then it took him to court and all that, and then they did the Coogan Act. They did that, so that's called the California Child Actor Bill. That's a law to be safe of your earnings like that. So that's a good idea. So he's sort of responsible for that as well. And of course, he filmed in other movies and television shows. And then, of course, he's famous for Uncle Fester and the Addams Family. I loved him in that show. He was hilarious. It was perfect for him. I don't know if he enjoyed it. I don't know. Maybe he did. He enjoyed, they had to shave his head because I read somewhere that he had to shave his head and he had a big mutton chop sideburns like that. And then when he was completely bald, he said his kids and his grandkids go, "Oh my God, they were so shocked," and he started to cry. So that's a shame. Of course, his famous. I remember him from the Brady Bunch. He appeared twice. on the Brady Bunch. And once he got involved with a traffic accident, a car accident with Carol Brady, and the other one with when they're trying to save a public park, and he was trying. A couple of the kids and Alice trying to convince him to sign a petition. So Alice, the housekeeper, trying to woo him like that, but it didn't work. He appeared in a lot of sitcoms. He really did. And he passed away on March 1st, 1984. He was 69 years old. But he left a legacy. He really did. He was a great actor. He was funny. Very funny. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about from the 1960s sitcom Don't Call Me Charlie. I never heard of this show. So let's see. So that the show starred actor Josh Pine, and he was his character's name was Dr. Judson McKay, and he was a small-town veterinarian from Muscatine, Iowa. Before I get further, I want to explain when the show started. It premiered on September 21st, 1962. Canceled January 25th, 1963. Ran for 1 hour. 26 episodes, 8 unaired. It was a half-hour sitcom. And like I said before, he was Dr. Judson McKay was a small-town veterinarian who suddenly gets drafted in the Army. And he's stationed himself as a private at a post in Paris. And he finds the officer in charge. His name is Colonel U. Charles Barker. And that was portrayed by actor John Hubbard. And he requested a bandmaster. And let's see what else. And there was like some clerical error like that. And he wanted a trombone player, but no, that didn't work. So most of the plots from the sitcom was most of his fellow soldiers trying to change Judson's to change his small town ways, but he can't. He's just, I am what I am, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is who I'm not going to change like that. So other people in the cast, we also have Artie Johnson. He played Corporal Lefkowitz. He started in a lot of sitcoms in the early days, like in the late 50s and the early 60s, late 50s and early 60s. Also, there was Linda Lawson, played by Pat. Her character's name was Pat Perry. Also, Alan Napier as General Steele. Of course, we know him from Alfred the Butler in Batman. Also, Cully Richards as First Sergeant Stanley Wozniak, and also Penny Satin as Madame Fatine. She appeared in a lot of TV shows, a lot of TV shows. I remember her as Laverne Devassio's grandmother, Laverne and Shirley. So, it didn't do well in the ratings, and then it just disappeared. So it's one of those TV shows that fell into TV oblivion and never be heard again. And, so that's a shame. It really was. Really was. So right now I'm going to play the theme song for Don't Call Me Charlie. When I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the actor who played Dr. Judson McKay, Josh Pine. There's not much about him. So sit back and enjoy the theme song. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Don't Call Me Charlie. Um, as actor Josh Pine or Pine, I don't know how you pronounce it, not much information about him. I didn't find anything really. He appeared in, his credits consist of just seven acting roles. He first appeared on the TV series The Detectives, also Death Valley Days, a syndicated Western series. Also, he was in the movies. Also, Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation that starred Jimmy Stewart. That's a funny movie. Also, he appeared in My Three Sons, and he was also in Rosemary's Baby and Doomsday. And that was and his last acting role was Doomsday Machine. And he passed away on December 29th, 2006 in New Mexico. So I don't know what he did. Maybe he took another career, path, something like that. I guess so. I don't know. But as for the sitcom, I never heard it. I watched one episode. It's funny, very very charming, very entertaining. Just didn't do well in the ratings. Okay. So right now, next up, we'll go to the 1970s, and I'm going to talk about the animated series, The Barkleys. And this was premiered on September 9th, 1972, ended December 2nd, 1972, of the same year. Ran for one season, 13 episodes. And this is created by the David H. DePatie Fritz Frayling Company, responsible for such shows as The Pink Panther and Anthony Aardvark and many others. So it was on NBC. I think I mentioned that. So this cartoon was inspired by All in the Family that aired on CBS during that time, and it featured a family of dogs that talk. So the head of the house was Arnie. He was a bus driver. Sounds like Ralph Cramton. And also his wife Agnes. And they had two teenagers, Terry and Roger, and a younger child, Chester. And the theme song was Just Remember Arnie's Barkley's Bark is Worse Than His Bite. And the theme song was somewhat similar to Those Were the Days, like that. Like if you watch All in the Family at the end, they play dun 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 dun, with the piano. And it's Be Ever So Humble, There's No Place Like Home. I remember watching this show briefly when I was in grade school on Saturday, but I totally forgot all about it. And it was rarely syndicated afterwards. And somehow they brought it back on Retro TV Network, if you have cable. And now it's on Pluto TV. If you go streaming service, and if you have Pluto TV, it's there. I gotta check it out, But there are some episodes on YouTube. They really are. The voice of Arnie Barkley was Henry Corden. And he did a lot of voice acting and acting, of course. And the voice of Agnes Barkley was actress Joan Gerber. You may remember her doing voice acting and H&R Puffin Stuff. Also, and Terry Barkley, she did the animated voice of Jeannie in Jeannie in the 1970s. Also, as Chester is Gina Drusko. So he did that, and he was a Canadian-born actor, and he's a leader of an alternative rock band called Adam Again. I never heard of him. Also, as Roger Barkley, that was voiced by Michael Lewis. Excuse me. So when I come back and play. Right now I'm going to play the theme song of the Barkleys. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit more about Henry Corden. Okay? So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Arnie Barkley, he's the head of the Barkley house. Agnes Barkley is his devoted and loving spouse. They've got kids, Terry, Roger, and Chester too. And all of them are Barkleys, through and through. 'Cause they're the Barkleys, and they're okay. And Arnie Barkley, with a very open mind, is always first to let you know his own opinionated ways. But even though he may grumble and get uptight, just remember Arnie Barkley's bark is worse than his bite.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the introduction of the Barkleys. I'll talk a little bit about actor Henry Corden. Let's see. He was born January 6, 1920 in Montreal, Canada. And he had a very distinctive voice and wonderful actor. And he did a lot of movies, lots of movies and television. He was a busy guy. So, like his first film was, I think it's the Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and that started with Danny Kaye. And also, he starred in Abbott Costello movie when they were in the Foreign Legion. Also, the Asphalt Jungle. Also, let's see. So, the Bandwagon. There's so many. Oh, he was also in the Ten Commandments. Oh boy, a lot. Like that. Let's see what else he was in. The Singing Nun. Hook, Line, and Sinker. Modern Problems, like in the 80s, like that. And as for television, his first TV role was in the Life of Riley. That's the first TV series that started with Jackie Gleason. Also, The Adventures of Superman, he's Zorro, Peter Gunn. A lot of westerns, like, for example, Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, Have Gone With Travel, Bonanza. Let's see, what else? Maverick, he was on. He played Jeannie's father on I Dream of Jeannie. He was there. Also on his famous, one of his well-known roles was the landlord of on the TV series The Monkees. And they the guys gave him trouble. He was not a flexible guy. Remember that. So he did voice. He also did voice acting as well. Like for example, like Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics, Fred Flintstone and Friends. He did that. After actor Alan Reed died, the original voice of Fred Flintstone, Henry Corden, took over his role. And he was Fred Flintstone all the way until he died. He did that. And so he passed away on, let's see. He passed away on May 19th, 2005. He was 85 years old. So he's one of those faces that you see him, but you don't know who he is. Because when you watch television or in the movies, he was there. That's so what an illustrious career he had. Okay. Next up, we have from the 1980s, the TV sitcom Filthy Rich. This has an interesting history of this show. And I remember this show very well. So here we go. This premiered on August 9th, 1982. Ended June 15th, 1983. Aired on CBS. Ran for 2 seasons, 15 episodes. Very short. And had a good cast. And this starred Dixie Carter and also Delta Burke. This is the first time, I think this is the first time they worked together before Designing Women. And let's see. So this is about, it was set in Memphis and it was owned by a guy, by a man. I'm sorry. His name was Big Guy Beck. And in the pilot, actor Slim Pickens played him just in the pilot. After that, actor Forrest Tucker played afterwards. And then, after he passed away, he was cryogenically frozen. That's scary. So he made a will on videotape. And it was played every week by his lawyer, George Wilhoit. First played by actor David Healy and also by actor Vernon Weddell Jr. And the will terms was so it was very I don't want to go into that very go into detail like that, but I think most of the plots was the oldest son wanted to get all the money, I guess, and also his wife, Carlotta. His oldest son, Marshall Beck, that's played by actor Michael Lombard, and Dixie Carter played Carlotta. And also, but Big Guy was married to a very young lady. Her name was Kathleen, and that's played by Delta Burke. And I wouldn't say she was dumb, but she just wanted all that money. You know how gold diggers are. And also he had an illegitimate son, Wild Bill Westchester, played by Jerry Hardin. You've seen him on a lot of TV shows. And his wife, Bootsy, was played by Ann Wedgeworth. And there were schemes during the show and all that. Oh, and I also forgot about Charles Frank, actor Charles Frank. He played Stanley Beck. He played his younger brother, Marshall. Also in the cast was Nedra Volz as Mother B. Beck, his first wife. You may know her as Adelaide from Different Strokes. She played the housekeeper after Charlotte Rae left. Believe that, yeah. So it was there was some going on in the behind the production scenes, and the show was created by Linda Bloodworth, famous for Designing Women. She created the show, and of course it was very famous and it was wonderful. I love Designing Women, I really do. So this show was like a takeoff of Dallas and Dynasty during the time that primetime soaps were popular like that. So they took advantage of it. And I watched a couple. I remember when this aired. It was funny. I like that. It wasn't good, wasn't bad, but it was fine. And didn't do well in the ratings. And then after that, Delta Burke and Dixie Carter moved over to Design Women, and that's what they were famous for. And it was funny. The funny thing is, Delta Burke played Dixie Carter's mother-in-law, but on Design Women they were sisters. So they had good chemistry, very good chemistry indeed. I love them both like that, and so that's very interesting. So right now I'm going to play the theme song for Filthy Rich. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Delta Burke. Okay. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Now, big guy left a whole lot of cash, but he said in his deed no will. His money-hungry family could never collect if they didn't love his illegitimate son, Wild Bill. He said they had to be one happy family, and that's gonna be a mighty tough switch. But they want that gold, and they would sell their souls, cause they want to be filthy rich. Filthy rich, that's a whole lot of money. Filthy rich, it's kinda sad and kinda funny. Whoever said money can't buy love, he didn't know what he was speaking of. Cause the fact is a fact, you gotta clean up your act if you wanna be filthy rich.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Filthy Rich. I'm going to talk a little bit about Delta Burke. She became famous for designing women as Suzanne Sugarbaker, one of the best TV characters of all time. The show, when she started, she was lovely, beautiful. She was funny, but not that funny. But when she gained weight, she got funnier and hilarious. And I look forward to watching her every week as time went on. And she was great. She was wonderful like that. She was like another Lucille Ball to me. But there was turmoil behind the set, behind the scenes because of her weight and her unreliability and all that. It was a mess. It really was. She stayed until the show from 1991, and the show continued until 1993. But a lot of people missed her like that, and then she started her own show, Delta, that premiered in 1992. I'm going to do a podcast episode about her, and she also then she returned to another Linda Bloodworth Thomason series called Women of the House. I'll also talk about that someday. Also DAG, D-A-G. Then she went on to start another series, and like Boston Legal. Also, she appeared on film, I think with Mel Gibson, What Women Want. And she was in beauty pageants. She won Miss Florida in 1974. I saw a clip of that. She looked beautiful. Oh, she's gorgeous. She hasn't done much acting in the past couple of years. I haven't seen her yet, but lately. So I hope she's doing okay. And she's married to actor Gerald McCraney. We all know him from Simon and Simon. They've been married since 1989, so that's great. That's wonderful. I hope she's doing well. I really do. Okay. Next up, we have from the 1990s the police drama Bodies of Evidence, and this program premiered on June 18th, 1992, ended May 28th, 1993, and that starred Lee Horsley and George Clooney. And this was the last lead role before he went into ER, that premiered in 1994, I believe. Yeah. And that aired on CBS. Aired 2 seasons, 16 episodes. And those guys, they were a team of homicide detectives, led by the head of the department, Lieutenant Ben Carroll, that was portrayed by Lee Horsley. Also, George Clooney was Detective Ryan Walker. Also in the cast was actress Kate McNeil as Detective Nora Hutton. Also, actor Al Fan, Detective Will Stratton. Leslie Jordan. Oh, what a funny man. He was the forensic specialist. Very serious role. Also, Francis X. McCarthy as Sergeant Jimmy Houghton. Laurie Toussaint as Dr. Mary Rocket. She was only in the first season. Also, Jennifer Hetrick as Bonnie Carroll, Ellen Fudge as Chief Frank Leland, and Kimberly Scott joined the cast in season 2 as Maggie Holland. Didn't do well in the rating. Well, kind of did in the ratings. It was okay. I saw the show once, and that's it. It was all right, but once George Clooney went into ER, boom, that's it. He catapulted to stardom, and I think he's famous for that. And he's wonderful actor. And then he went to movies, of course, like that. And this program, like I said, was short lived. So right now I'm going to play the theme song for Bodies of Evidence. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Lee Horsley. He has an interesting acting career. Okay, so sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Bodies of Evidence. And I'll talk a little bit about actor Lee Horsley. He's a great actor. He was born May 15th, 1955, still with us, thank goodness. And his first television role was in the 1981 series Nero Wolfe. And also, let's see. And that also starred William Conrad as Cannon. But his most famous role, of course, was Matt Houston. I used to love that show. That aired in the 80s from 1982 to 1985. That was Matt. And also the syndicated series Paradise. And but he also did stage work. He did that. He appeared in a couple movies like that. And he also appeared in the series called Hawkeye. That was a series set in the French and Indian War that started with Linda Carter. It was Wonder Woman. And so he does. I haven't seen him lately. I don't. But he's outdoorsman, horseman, rodeo participant, and a novelist. So he's a busy guy. He doesn't have to act. So that's great. I hope he's doing well. I really do. Okay. Now, next up, we're going to go to the 2000s, and it's the television sitcom Andy Richter Controls the Universe. This one, this is bizarre. It really is. So, this premiered on March 19th, 2002. It was canceled January 12th, 2003. Had 19 episodes. Had 2 seasons. That's good. And it starred Andy Richter. We all know Andy Richter as the sidekick with Conan O'Brien on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. And he was wonderful. I love those guys. They made me laugh during the 90s. They did some goofy stuff. They really did. And Andy Richter stayed with Conan O'Brien until 2000. And according to sources, that Conan O'Brien was okay with that, and but he didn't want him to leave, but he supported him, so that's good. Like that. And let's see what else. The character's name, Andy Richter, he shares the same name as, the actor. He's an inspiring writer living in Chicago and wants to write short stories. And unfortunately, he is forced to work as a technical writer for Pickering Industries, to write so he can pay the bills. He got to support himself. And doesn't want to work with the company, but he's good at the job. So, okay. Also in the cast was Paget or Brewster, very famous. You've seen her in many TV shows. Her character's name was Jessica Green, and she worked in her department, and she became their boss, and became his boss eventually. Also in the cast was Wendy McKay. She played the receptionist at the office. And the character's name was Irene Malloy. Also actor Brian Togler. He's portrayed by Jonathan Slavin. He moves into Andy's office, and we have one of those like that when you're at a workplace. Also in the cast was James Patrick Stewart. He played Keith, and he was Andy's best friend. You may know him in General Hospital. And also, he's also his best friend. He plays Valentine Cassadine. And, of course, his famous father was Chad Stewart of Chad and Jeremy. So I saw the show maybe once. It was okay. Andy Richter is a very funny man. But it didn't do well in the ratings, and then it got canceled, and then that was it. But Conan O'Brien did appear on one episode. He did. And he portrayed Pickering's new CEO. I missed that. I wanted to see that. So right now I'm going to play the theme song for Andy Richter Controls the Universe. It's very short. It's about 10 seconds long. It's like, and then it's done. When I come back, I will talk a little bit more about Andy Richter. Okay? So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. All right, everyone, I am back. That was a short theme song for Andy Richter Controls the Universe. I'll talk a little bit about him. He was born Paul Andrew Richter on October 28, 1966. And he's best known as the sidekick for Conan O'Brien on the talk shows. It's like when Jay Leno left The Tonight Show, they chose Conan O'Brien to take over, and Andy Richter returned to be the sidekick. I thought it was doing well, but somehow there was turmoil. I always say turmoil. There was friction behind the scenes, and then after that, Jimmy Fallon took over. Or I think Jay Leno returned. Yeah, he returned. I'm sorry. And then Jimmy Fallon did the Tonight Show. So he was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but he also was raised in Yorkville, Illinois, Chicagoland area. And he did that. And him and Conan O'Brien did wonderful great comedy bits. And it's so funny, like for the year 2000, sometimes he did it with celebrities. I love Conan O'Brien. I really do. He's funny. Then the show moved to TBS and ran for a long time. And that ended recently. So that's a shame. So I guess Conan O'Brien's sort of returning in a way. I think like HBO specials. So when Conan O'Brien was hired, to do the late night show after Jay Leno, like, who is this guy? And but he sort of did well, and he appealed to college kids, just like David Letterman did in the 80s. And he just caught on, with the red hair and the freckles, and he's so tall and skinny, and made funny faces. Also, Andy Richter did that too. So Andy Richter's a good actor. I like him a lot. I really do. Okay. Last show we have from the 2010s is the scary TV drama 666 Park Avenue. Oh, I watched this show a lot. I really did. And this premiered on September 30th, 2012, ended July 13th, 2013. This aired right after Desperate Housewives on Sunday nights. And it ran for one season, 13 episodes, had a good cast. And this was about an apartment building in Manhattan, New York. And it's possessed by a mysterious demonic force. Ugh. And the building was called the Beaux Arts Building. And it's also called the Drake. It was an apartment building. And let's see what else. Let's see what else here. So it was actually a building. It was called the Ansonia, and that's located on Broadway Street between 73rd Street and 74th in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So it had, like I said before, it had a good cast. So the cast members were Rachel Taylor as Jan Van Veen. She's the new co-manager of the building. Also, Dave Annabelle as Henry Martin. I think that's her boyfriend. Also, Robert Buckley. He played Brian Leonard. He was a playwright. He lived with his wife. She's a photographer. Her name was Louise Leonard, played by Mercedes Masson. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Also, there was Helena Madsen as Alexis Bloom. She's an assistant to Louise. Also, Samantha Logan as Nona Clark. She had a unique gift. She was a resident. Also, there was the doorman, Tony DeMille, played by Eric Palladino. He's most famous for ER. And the building owners were Terry Quinn as Gavin Doran, and Vanessa Wilman played Olivia Doran as his wife. Oh. So that's and there were like scary going ons, and then I remember one episode Whoopi Goldberg starred in one episode, and she lived in the building, but she never left. She was like a hermit, recluse, like that. And there was like I said, there was peculiar things happening, like possession or things moving around. You get the idea, like Rosemary's Baby, like that. So when I come back, right now I'm going to play the theme song for 666 Park Avenue. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Vanessa Williams. Yeah. So just enjoy the theme song, folks. Thank you. All right, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for 666 Park Avenue. It's a shame the show didn't last longer. I liked it. I really did. As for actress Vanessa Williams, she has a interesting career. She became Miss America in 1984, one of the first, as the first African American woman to receive the title. And after that, she resigned because there was a controversy of new photographs published on Penthouse magazine. I wonder if that magazine's still around. Maybe. I don't know. And then after that, she made a comeback, and then she did acting, and she recorded the songs. And then I remember the first song was "Dreaming" that came out in 1989, and she's a great singer. She sings beautifully. She really does. And then she acted in Broadway and then television. And let's see what else. And I liked her. And then she went over after 666 Park Avenue. She moved over to Desperate Housewives. And she was great in that. She was a nasty lady. Well, not nasty. I mean, she was not very nice, but kind of funny. She did a lot of TV shows. She starred in Ally McBeal, LA Doctors. She was on the French Prince of Bel Air, also The Love Boat. She did that. And let's see. See what else she played, and she's still acting. Also in Ugly. Oh, she also starred in Ugly Betty. Yeah, that's she was in the main cast of that. That ran for 4 years on ABC as Wilhelmina Slater. I liked her in that. She's sort of like the Devil Made Prada. Like Meryl Streep's character in a way, sort of. Okay. So that's it for this program. I'm going to do a recap of what I discussed today. So here we go. So from the 1950s, I discussed the syndicated TV series Cowboy G-Men. From the 1960s, the television sitcom Don't Call Me. From Don't Call Me Charlie, excuse me on that. From the 1970s, the animated TV series The Barkleys. From the 1980s, the TV sitcom Filthy Rich. From the 1990s, the police drama Bodies of Evidence. From the 2000s, the TV sitcom Andy Richter Controls the Universe. And of course, in the 2010s, 666 Park Avenue, the horror drama. Okay, so this program will be published wherever podcasts are available: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Also be on my YouTube channel, TV Oblivion, the podcast. Also, it'll be on my social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter. And whatever is easier for you to listen. I will do another podcast episode probably next weekend. Okay. So this is, this is Pete Castanis, your host of TV Oblivion, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I had a wonderful time. And so right now I'm going to play the Pick and Pluck song that ends the show. So take care, everyone. So long.